Pro-Israel Conservative Party leader Kemi Badenoch has done it again. She has once again disgraced herself with an incredibly disgusting statement to justify an illegal action of the settler colony of Israel built on the stolen land of Palestine. But she said to justify the deportation of two British members of parliament, her colleagues, her parliamentary colleagues from the ruling Labour Party. That is deeply revolting, to put it mildly. But then, what can you expect from this woman? She has had the history of making revolting comments to prove her loyalty to Israel, even though she aspires to become the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Look at the irony. Israel detained and deported two Labour MPs, Yuan Yang and Abtisam Mohammed, when they tried to visit the occupied West Bank. Just imagine the audacity of this rogue settler colony. As if committing mass genocide, killing babies, and raping Palestinians weren't enough, these medieval genocidal maniacs have now gone a step further to detain and deport the elected representatives from a first world country and a country whose governments have been diligently participating in their ongoing genocide in Gaza. Israel said that these two MPs were humiliated because of their hate speeches. You know what those hate speeches are? These two MPs have always called out Israeli barbarism in the UK Parliament.
In November, the IDF made an official statement that it is getting closer to the complete evacuation of northern Gaza and Palestinians will not be permitted to return home. In December, Doctors Without Borders reported on the clear signs of ethnic cleansing in the north of Gaza, and only last week the residents of Beit Hanun were ordered to leave the area. Ethnic cleansing is taking place before our very own eyes and the world remains silent. So will the Minister confirm that Israel must allow Palestinians to return to northern Gaza and that any settlements there would be illegal?
Yuan Yang.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. I recently met with medics from the Royal Berkshire Hospital, as well as other constituents from Early and Woodley, who described to me the atrocious conditions that their Palestinian colleagues and relatives continue to operate on in medical facilities that remain in Gaza. So I'm very thankful that the Minister has raised the issue of detained medical professionals with the Israeli authorities. And I thank him for all the work that he has done to ensure that our government is leading on international humanitarian law. However, as I'm sure he's heard from many on these benches, we would like more action, and we do not think the current action is enough. And so I would like to remind him of the comments previously made by the Prime Minister on looking into sanctions against Minister Ben-Gvir and Minister Smotrich for their comments supporting the illegal resettlement of northern Gaza. And I ask when he may be able to give us an update on that issue.
Not to mention that MP speeches in the parliament are always protected. Badenoch was asked by a BBC presenter this morning about her views. Being true to herself, she defended Israel and effectively condemned those two Labour MPs for being anti-Israel. I'm not making it up. Watch it for yourself.
The big story with these two Labour MPs being refused entry to Israel, the government has said it was unacceptable. But do you think that Israel was entitled to do what they did? What's your view?
Countries should be able to control their borders. What I think is shocking is that we have MPs in Labour who other countries will not allow through. I think that's very significant.
Shocking because?
Well, if you look at the reasons why the Israeli government has given for why they're not letting them in, they don't believe that they're going to comply with their laws. MPs do not have diplomatic immunity. I believe that the people who represent us in Parliament should be people who should be able to go anywhere in the world and people not be worried about what they're going to do when they go into those countries.
Are you suggesting the Israelis were right to worry that these two Labour politicians would break the law if they got into the country?
Well, that's the reason they gave. And what I believe is that every country should be able to control its borders. We do the same thing. There are many people that we don't allow into our country, and I don't think we should be setting precedents in a different way.
So just to be clear, you believe the Israeli government's account of this, not the Foreign Secretary who says they were treated unacceptably?
The Foreign Secretary has given his view. I've given my view.
As I said, this is not the first time that she has made such pathetic remarks. During the leadership race for the Conservative Party, she has said that she was okay with immigrants as long as they supported Israel. Now you know why she was elected as the new leader of the Conservative Party and therefore the leader of the opposition.
You said this morning in the Telegraph something which I think is going to attract some attention.
I'm sure it will.
Yeah, well, indeed. You talked about, it's about immigration, and what you talk about is not the numbers, but the nature of immigration and immigrants. And you say, I am struck, for example, by the number of recent immigrants to the UK who hate Israel. That sentiment has no place here. Which immigrants are we talking about?
Well, people who come from countries where Israel is seen as an enemy. I remember growing up in Nigeria as a young child that people talked about Israel with a lot of positivity. What I didn't know is that in the northern part of the country, which was heavily Muslim, people spoke in a completely different way. And I also remember 10 years ago when 300 girls were stolen from school and taken away by Islamist terrorists. It resonates with what happened on October 7th. And so I'm always shocked by the number of people who are unable to sympathize with those victims, people who are ripping down posters. I think that's extraordinary. Missing children's posters being ripped down because people hate the country. I don't think that has any place here.
It's interesting, you know, you make a virtue of your plain speaking and so on, but you evidently mean, when you say the number of recent immigrants who hate Israel, you evidently mean Muslim immigrants. Why didn't you just say that?
Because it's not all Muslim immigrants. And this is what I don't do. I'm very careful when I speak. I've met many Muslim people who love Israel. I met them in the Middle East. When I went to Saudi, when I went to the UAE, you know, you look at the Abraham Accords, there are many people in the Middle East who want to support Israel. I remember reading, after this assassination of the Hezbollah leader, loads of people from Arab countries who were actually very pleased. That man caused chaos in Syria. So it is not all Muslims, but there are some, those who buy into Islamist ideology, political Islam, they do not like Israel.
Clearly, the only prerequisite to become the Prime Minister of the UK is to show your loyalty to Israel, not necessarily the UK. That's exactly what she appears to think. This also explains why Jeremy Corbyn was hounded out and removed as the leader of the Labour Party by the same Israeli lobby on false allegations of anti-Semitism. Kemi Badenoch's latest comments are so disgusting that even British Foreign Secretary David Lammy, another Israeli sympathizer in UK politics, was forced to condemn them publicly. This is what he wrote on Twitter, and I quote, Kemi Badenoch, it's disgraceful. You are cheerleading another country for detaining and deporting two British MPs. Do you say the same about Tory MPs banned from China? This government will continue to stand up for the rights of our MPs to speak their mind, whatever their party. End quote. Badenoch herself is an immigrant and a person of color. If she thinks she can command respect from the deeply racist and genocidal entity called Israel, she's living in fool's paradise. Is she not aware of how Israel has historically treated and continues to treat or mistreat Ethiopian Jews? Kemi Badenoch is nothing but a useful idiot for Israel. Wait until Israel realizes that a white MP in the Conservative Party can do a better job in defending its crimes against humanity than her. It will not waste a moment in getting rid of her. It's as simple as that. That's it from me. Thank you very much for your support of this platform and our journalism on buymeacoffee.com and Patreon. If you too think that our journalism is worth supporting, then you too should consider becoming part of it. Details are there in the description of this video. In the meantime, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so because that's one of the many ways you can support independent journalism. God bless you all.